I know you do a lot of speaking on this and you get a lot of common questions and stuff. Is there
Yeah.
any other common misconceptions or messages that you like to share that we haven't covered yet?
We talked about not equating your identity and your worth with your work and the whole athlete's mindset. Something else that I tell people that I think goes a long way is to just give yourself grace sometimes. Like we beat ourselves up so much thinking we have to do all the things. We have to be perfect. We can't take any breaks. No rock can, remain unturned. Every I dotted, T crossed. And that really does lead to burnout. Give yourself some grace. Don't let perfect be the enemy of the good. And I think sometimes when people hear someone else say that, it gives them permission to actually implement that in their lives. The other thing I will say lastly is to use your voice. I do a lot of work with professional women, and oftentimes I think women are not great, and I've been guilty of this myself, of actually speaking up and advocating for themselves or saying no. So use your voice to set that boundary. You don't have to over explain, why you're leaving the office at that time, what you're doing, but don't just kind of get dumped on. Speak up and say no, because as I said before, when you say no to someone or something else, you're saying yes to yourself. So think of it that way. It's kind of my high level.
Yeah, I love that because for me, it's also about um, being yourself and doing what you know that you need. I think sometimes too many organizations and stuff set work schedules and the same thing for everybody. And I get
Yeah,
why, legally or in HR and stuff, you would need policies and a handbook and stuff like that. But in
right.
reality, people work at different times. Some people are more creative in the morning, or they can do more focused work in the afternoon, or however it is. And some people have kids and they're working from home and they get home from school at a different time. And you can be more flexible. I think giving yourself permission to do what you need to do your best work. We're not saying
Mhm.
don't do your best work and
Right.
just go mess around and be childish all day. We're saying
Yeah.
be yourself, be childlike, be your authentic, fun, playful self, and
Yeah.
do your best work. Do what it takes in order for you to sustainably do your best work over time.
Couldn't agree
And
more.
I think, yeah, a lot more companies and leaders need to be more forgiving. And there's always going to be more work, right? So it's not like
Yeah.
if you work 60 hours this week and you crush it, that there's going to
Yeah.
be no work next week. Like we did it. Oh, we
Right.
won. No, it's like, then they just want 70 hours the next week.
And you're so
You know,
spot on. I remember early in my career, a senior partner said to me once, "Oh, we go home when the work is done." And I'm like, "Well, when do I get to go home? I don't understand. There's always hours to bill. There's always files." So it's really hard to say no. And by the way, I've been at different stages of my career in this profession. I was single and unmarried. Then I was married and I was childless. Then I was a new mother. And I really saw the differences in the people around me and how I was treated, and people in my similar situations were treated, right? It's like she could work late. She doesn't have any children to go home to. And I'm like, well, I just want to go home and like put my yoga pants on and sit on the couch. Like, why is that not valid? Right. So
right.
I think there's a lot to be said on that front, but that's why I say when you set your boundaries, you don't have to explain what you're doing, when you're leaving the office at the time you want to leave.
And there's hard choices and sacrifices too. Like I decided in my entertainment career in my 20s that, hey, I am young, I am single, I do have extra energy, I can go DJ in bars and clubs until 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
But I knew I wouldn't want to do that when I'm married and 40 and
No,
stuff
that
that
sounds
is like,
awful. I can't
like,
stay up
yeah,
that late.
that's not what I wanted. So there is a time and a place to do different things, and giving
Right.
people and yourself those permissions to do those things is that
Right.
if you're not making enough money to survive and be comfortable and not
Mhm.
stressed, then maybe you need to work and get done and cover your basic needs. But at some point you have to decide what's enough and what's sustainable and what level of income you're going to be happy at. Because if you just keep going for more, that's not the answer.
Exactly.